Happy Saturday, guys. How are you doing today? I'm RK and I'm with Sacred Pair of Playland. Hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday. I hope it's been a phenomenal week. I know it's been a lot of awesome things going on in our dog community. I've been seeing you guys post it. And guys, I'm here for it. So I want to come to you live today with this awesome, amazing podcast. I have a beautiful guest today. I've been admiring her page for quite some time, and I'm really invested in it. Plus, guess what, guys? She's a Louisville gal just like I am, right? As many of you guys know, I was born in Detroit, raised partially in Detroit, Michigan, and then I came here and spent most of my life here. How about that? But I do go back home to go visit. Guys, without further ado, I am going to bring in our very special guest today, which is catching up with the Cottrells. I am excited for whatever we're going to talk about. I know we're going to talk about dolls, of course. We're going to talk about this awesome, amazing community and share a tidbit about what Louisville's like. All right, guys. Oh, let's see here. Let's see if we can get that dial up to come back. Things are so different on here.
Hi.
You've been so different trying to get it to dial up. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was just watching the Louisville game, so.
See, I came representing. I was gonna dress up today, and I was like, no, this is our dress up. I got my Louisville cup, got my Louisville sweatshirt, got my Louisville hat. My hair is too puffy to put it on, but I was like, we're representing today. All things Kentucky. How's your day going?
Oh, it is going really good. We actually celebrated my niece's 15th birthday today, so we were kind of do this, watch the Louisville game, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Busy day. Well, happy birthday to her. 15 is a very sweet number. We have a 15-year-old. Our oldest, actually, out of our 10 is 15. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So, I want to appreciate you for doing this live with me. I want to start off by saying that.
Oh, thank you for doing this. This is my first time doing an Instagram live.
Oh, my God, this is your first time. Kept that eavesdropping down. So thank you. Awesome. Thank you for allowing me to have this time with you. And I just want to get this straight because I feel that some people who do not live where we live are very confused about how to say the name. How do you pronounce Louisville?
Okay. So I say it like two ways because I guess how my phone voice sounds, and then I say Louisville. And then when I'm on the phone with people, I say Louisville. So it's like, but most of the time I say Louisville.
Okay, so for some people who may not know, the spelling of our city has confused a lot of people. And that's one of the topics of debate. How do we say our city name? Is it Louisville, Louisville, or Louisville? I generally say Louisville. But yeah, I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I say Louisville. I'm born and raised Louisville, so I just say Louisville.
Okay.
And some people do say, like, if I'm on the phone, I'm like Louisville, but for the most part, it's Louisville.
I got you. All right, let's dig into it, sis. Catching up with the Cottrells. Where did you get that name from?
Well, it's my husband's last name. Okay. So, and I used to be a fan of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, so I was like, okay, so at first I had something that had Barbie in it, and I was like, okay. I saw Mattel shutting people's sites down, so I was like, let me change it. So I was like, well, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, how about Catching Up with the Cottrells? So I just went with that and just kind of rolled with
Me and your husband? See if we can get back online here.
Is it my internet? Is my internet?
No, it must be me. That's why I was like, let me try to get it back in line. It must have been mine. I think it was mine.
Okay, because I was like,
okay, so there we go. I hope we got that dealt with. But I do like how you were able to tie that in because the Keeping Up, with the Kardashians, which I recall a show, which I still love, called Keeping Up Appearances.
Yes.
That came out way before. Yes. It's BBC.
Hi.
That is my show.
That was my show when I was a kid growing up.
Yes. So when I heard Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I initially thought it was going to be some type of remix to the BBC, which of course it was not. It was completely,
Oh, now I'm
glamour.
thinking that's a nice little throwback though, because like I remember just growing up and that show was hilarious because she was like, it spelled like bucket, but it's bouquet, and I was like, oh no.
It is hilarious to this day. If you guys have never seen Keeping Up Appearances, you got to look it up. It is on YouTube. Some of the full episodes are on there, but I'm telling you, it is hilarious. They still show it on PBS at certain times. You got to check your local guide in order to find out what time, but it is a phenomenal show, just the way that they were able to get all these different cast members, all these different personalities, and really mesh them in a comical way. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, yeah, I really thought that Keeping Up with the Kardashians was going to be a spin-off or some type of remix to that. And of course, it wasn't. But I love how you were able to take that and recreate this whole name with Catching Up with the Girls. So was that originally going to be about your miniature lifestyle in a way, and then it became something else?
At first it started off just being about my husband and my kids, and then we did like some of my very first stories and videos were just so bad, and I was like, I gotta step my game up a little bit. So then I just started bringing in like Nicole, and then I brought in Tori, and a lot of my stories are kind of like soap opera based, but they're also got some true life elements to it. Like with Nicole is a part of me. Like that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be a veterinarian growing up. And so I feel like a little bit of her story is about me.
Oh, wow. I like that. I like that. I tend to believe, this is my own personal belief, that each of our characters kind of takes some type of form of ourselves, even if it's something that where we say, this is something I would never do. I would never live this kind of life or act in this way. Even the not becoming that, even if it's something that you're against, a shadow side of yourself, to me, in my personal opinion, I believe that it's still an aspect of you. When it comes to you writing for all these different characters, do you feel that a portion of their personality comes from you, or from some, a personality that you wouldn't have, or is this just from people watching and an interest in soap operas?
It's a whole lot of that. Some of my characters are based off of my family members. Like I said, Nicole, and I want to say Nicole and a little bit of Denise are based off of how I am. But then there's some other characters that are just totally one of my characters is based off of my grandmother. She's very sassy. She's very, says what she wants to say, says what's on her mind. And then I think some of the guy characters are kind of based off some of the males I grew up with, and some of the guys I've had as friends growing up. I know Miguel is kind of based off one of my best friends from high school. And it's just a whole mixture of people that I've learned, who I grew up with and who I met in my lifetime.
I like that. I like that. And of course, we use different names, so everybody's like, I got somebody I'm thinking of. You don't want anybody coming after you.
I don't want to get,
Try your best.
I don't want to get sued. So I mean, they're loosely based. It's not like it's totally them, but it's loosely based.
Yeah. What I find too, whenever you create a character and you're basing it off of someone, you may also enmesh 2 or 3 other people into that one character. So it's not solely just based off of the individual, but some people can give you so much a storyline from who they are. You don't even have to enmesh. Go by what they give you. Were you a Barbie girl growing up?
And in the beginning, I wasn't. I was a My Little Pony girl. I'm the youngest of 4 children, so growing up, my sisters got all the good Barbies, and then they would just leave me with the terrible ones. And so I'll play with My Little Ponies until I hit about 6 or 7. Then I was like, okay, I like Barbies. I want to say I didn't really get into collecting Barbies until I was about 10. And then I've always played with Barbies. One of the things that I love about you is that doll therapy, and you bring that up, adult play.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was when I was a teenager, but playing with Barbies kind of helped me develop. I was always shy and I was kind of awkward growing up. So playing with Barbies kind of helped me develop into who I am today. I'll be able to talk to people. I was bullied a lot in middle school, so I still played with Barbies up until I was pregnant with my son. And that was in 2011. I gave it up when I got pregnant, because I was like, oh, I'm about to be a mom. I can't play with Barbies anymore. But I'll say this, I've always been a Barbie girl. My nickname growing up was Black Barbie. That's what everybody called me. But yeah, I've always, for that little bit of time where I didn't like Barbie when I was a little kid, but I've been Barbie since I was like 7.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you brought up about adult play therapy, because that is such an important aspect of what we do. I believe that we forget to play. Then at times when we are playing, we don't recognize that we are enjoying that moment and that we are playing. And we put such a bad stigma to having hobbies and enjoying yourself because you're an adult and you're supposed to be serious, and you're supposed to just confront your issues head on and deal with, any traumas or anything from the past, and not have a safe place to really release.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being able to have a safe place. We need that. We had that as children. So even if you have like somehow, some way you managed in this life to not have any traumas, no stress, no issues, even in that case, I still believe that having some place of escape to be able to explore and have adventures is so important. It is so very important. So I'm glad that you did bring that up. And definitely middle school
sucks. Middle school sucks. Both of my kids are in middle school now.
Middle school is just like, it's I almost want to say it's like purgatory. Like, it's just like that in between. You're no longer, in elementary. You're on your way to high school and better things. But meanwhile, you just got to be in that waiting place.
Right.
And you're in a waiting place with a whole bunch of other people who do not understand themselves. They have an influx of hormones and they don't know how to handle it. And it is not easy. It is not easy.
No, not at all.
So I completely, my heart goes out to you, because I understand what that's like, as far as being unique and being different and having people point that out as if we're a flaw. And because school wants you to be so cookie cutter, and students want you to be like them. And even whenever you try to be like them, you're still not, because you're not supposed to. We get you off into something else. But as far as just bullying and being able to get through that, you do have to have a place where you can escape. Yeah, a healthy place. So I love that you also played dolls while pregnant.
Yeah.
Because pregnancy, we talk about influx of hormones again. And that's just like a time when you're really trying to understand who you are.
Yeah.
While pregnant, postpartum.
Getting up and down off the floor.
Now. Yeah. I mean, you really can't. I speak personally. We have 10 children, and they were all, I was pregnant with each and every one of them. We had twins. We had one set of twins, but pretty much each one was a singleton. And almost after each baby is like, who am I? And I do find that play helps a whole lot on being able, like you said, to also help you to do this live right now and to express yourself. And in what ways have you been able to see that in yourself? Like, could you articulate that for someone else?
It kind of, and I think I watched I Dolled It For You when she went live, and she talked about, being parents and you're just in parent mode all the time. When I got back into this in like 2022, when I got back into playing with dolls again, buying Barbies, and, it showed that I'm not just mom, that, I'm not just Ariel, the wife. I can be creative, and I have this outlet where I can go and just create things. And honestly, when I first started this, I didn't think I was going to have any followers. I didn't think I was just doing this for me. I remember I watched my Froggy stuff, and I was like, what is this? And I went down this rabbit hole, and I watched all of her videos, and I started doing it. And then I just never thought that I would get to where I am today. When I got like 5 followers, I was like, oh my God, thank you. And people were commenting, but it has helped me a lot, because I'm no longer just mom. I'm not in mom mode. I have these times now where I can, just come in my doll space and look at these dolls and just like, okay, what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
Whose life am I going to mess up today? But it's kind of cool, because I'm not just mom now. I'm doing other things, and I enjoy interacting with all of you guys. Like I do, like I read every comment. I read everything, because I'm just that person. I'm a shy person. I'm an introvert. with extrovert kind of attitude.
Yes.
But I love interacting with folks. And I like and some people tell me like, oh my God, they'll say something, they'll give me an idea. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I got to use this. And
Yes.
it's such a lovely community. Like I never knew that there were several people who were like this and like me. And I'm loving it. I'm loving being here.
Same here. Same here. I completely 100% agree with you on what you're saying. I have been a member of the writing community prior to this, and even with the comedy scene. And I have never found the type of home that I've found with our dog community, as far
Right.
as people appreciating each other's creativity and interacting and giving suggestions, or you say, where did you get that from? And instead of ignoring your comment, they either write it right there in the comments where they got this doll from or this outfit from, or they DM you, or they send you tutorials on how they did a custom. It's just such a loving community.
Right.
And I find that same thing that you're speaking of. And then when you talk about being able to be inspired by your dolls to be more extrovert, it reminds me of the statement, like, if Barbie can do it, I can do it.
That
You
is
know,
exactly,
it's like
yes.
if I'm dressing her all up, why can't I also dress up? If I'm planning, which making doll events is almost like literally planning a human party. It's like if I could do that, I can go into wedding planning. I can go into party planning. So I do feel that who Barbie is in our life and how we interact with her can be very inspiring in our real life.
Oh yeah, yes, most definitely.
Yeah, yes. So you do it. Now you talked about messing up these dolls' life. Where are you getting these storylines from, though, sis? We got to get the breakdown on that. Where are you getting
Okay,
these storylines from?
I think a lot of them come from soap operas because like I said, growing up, my grandma was into As the World Turns, Young and the Restless. A lot of them I do get from the soap opera. Like my very big one where everyone commented on was when I had Nicole and Miguel get married, but they didn't get married, and it was just this big to do. And everyone was like, "Oh my God," because I mean, I planned it up to the minute. Like, and you're right, it's like planning a child's birthday party. Like I planned it, and I knew in my mind that they were not going to get married. Like I knew that I was going to break them up. And it was just in the way I did it. I shocked myself. I went back and read it like a year ago. Like I did it a year ago, and I read back and read it a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. And I mean, they were my favorite couple. Like, and I broke them up, but I had to because life is not always pretty. And things happen, but I get a lot of my stuff from soap operas and a lot of stuff that happened to me in real life and a lot of stuff that I've happened to other people that I know in real life. So, I mean, but
It does. It happens. It happens. Have you come to that point, which I'm certain that you have, even with this storyline that we're speaking of right now, have you come to the point where your characters kind of speak up and object and kind of put their input into the story?
yeah, that's funny because like and it's weird. I know it sounds crazy, but I felt like with Miguel, it was like he was like he didn't want to lose Nicole, and I was like, well, you got to, sir, you got to. Sorry. And it's one of those things where when it happened, at first I did not know where I was going to go afterwards. Like I broke them up, the wedding's ruined, all of this input. It was like a big fight, and I didn't know where to go with it after that. And then I think I gave them some time off, and then I brought it back, and all of a sudden Nicole ends up pregnant, but she's pregnant by Miguel and his brother at the same time. So she has 2 kids by 2 different brothers. And that did come from a soap opera. That came from Bold. I was gonna say Bold and Beautiful, but that actually came from Days of Our Lives because I was a huge Sammy fan, and I know everybody hates Sammy because she's like the villain most of the time, but I love Sammy, and she's messy, but she's great, and I love her, and I love her, the actress that plays her too. So I kind of did that as a homage to her and to her character, having twins by 2 guys they're twins, but they're not twins.
Okay, I haven't seen that. I haven't watched soap operas in a long time. I've been watching a lot of family-friendly movies and shows on Disney and Pixar and all that stuff. So,
Oh, I know.
oh my God, gosh, so yeah, I haven't been able to catch up on my soap operas, but when I do, I'm on my tablet, I'm by myself, it's usually like me catching up on something from like 2001,
Oh
2002.
yeah,
I gotta like catch up. I know, right?
I
But
remember those
I
days.
love, oh my gosh, yeah, because our youngest is 3, so I'm still in those days.
I
I'm still in
miss
those.
them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I miss them because like my kids now are into like YouTube and like they're Gen Alphas, so I don't really. I'm a millennial, so I don't mesh well with what they're doing. But I remember the days of watching like just watching like Jake and the Neverland Pirates and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yes, yes. Did you ever got? This is off subject, but did you guys get in? It's not off subject. Still play. Did you guys watch Sprout? The
Yes.
Sprout. Oh, I was so hurt. Like when they started like moving the Universal kids, I was like, okay, we're still gonna hang in there. And then it just all just like
Yeah.
crumbled. And I hated it because like Sprout was just that whole like that network was phenomenal. Like they got your kids up and taught them numbers and Sunrise with Chica. And then like as the day went, the lights started to go down a little bit. They had yoga and the little sand art. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this channel rocks and it's
Oh, I
gone.
miss Chica.
I
I almost
know.
ordered my daughter a Chica because she loved Chica. Like we loved Sprout. Like oh my god, they got rid of it. I'm so upset.
Hurt. It hurt. Like honestly, parents know that hurt. Or you don't have to be a parent. You just loved Sprout. You loved it, and it did. That one. I tell you, one day I almost cried. I was talking to my husband about it. I was just like, I can't believe I'm like really getting emotional, but I really was because that program was just so great. I would love if they brought something back similar, but it had to be similar. Now, when we talk about villains, because I know you were like talking about Sandy and how people really didn't like that particular character, who would you say is the villain in your storyline?
Oh gosh. Um, to me, it's Miguel. Like everyone thinks he's the villain because he was in love with Nicole's sister. Didn't tell Nicole, and then out of the blue, I brought in some other doll to be the baby that him and Lauren aborted, but didn't abort, and the baby just was raised somewhere else. And so when the wedding happened and it all came out that he was in love with Nicole's sister and just didn't tell her because Nicole asked, like, I think I did it a couple right before they got married. She asked if he was ever in love with Lauren and he said, no, we never slept together. But yes, he would be the villain because a lot of people, like when I read the comments, a lot of people are like, yeah, Miguel, that was messed up. You shouldn't have done that. And yeah, he should have told Nicole the truth from the beginning. But yeah, he is the villain he's probably the villain of my universe, even though I don't intend for him to be the villain, but he is the villain.
That's what I find so interesting about what we do, especially doing it on a social media platform compared to just writing a book, right? Because whenever you write the book, you kind of only you have your own perspective as the author. So you can already pinpoint who your villain is and who's the protagonist and antagonist and all this other stuff. Who's just, on the stand, on the side as supporting cast. But I find with our Instagram and any social media that you get the input from the audience like
Yes.
instantaneous. And they kind of pinpoint who they feel is your villain even when you don't. So like for me, my Reggie, wherever he is, he's somewhere over here.
Reggie,
I don't really feel he's a villain. I love Reggie too, but I love villains. I'm with you. I love villains. I feel like villains really do help push your story, along and really do keep your audience involved with your story. So I like that. I like that because yeah, Miguel, I don't fully see him as a villain. I see him as misguided.
Yeah.
He's definitely misguided, but I believe, and then on top of that, he seems to move off of selfish ambition.
Yes.
But I don't always feel that it's intentional, like he's just being evil about it or malicious. But I do like the factor being that we as the writers do kind of like listen to the input of our audience in order to move things along as well. I think that's really interesting. So when it comes to your story, do you script ahead or do you just write it as you're texting it?
I tried scripting ahead and it didn't work. Like I think what I do a lot of times is I act it out with the dolls and then I write it. Like I act it out, then I take the pictures and then I write about it. Because when I tried to script it ahead, it fell flat. Like if you read some of my earlier stories, like when I first started on Instagram, that's what I did. I scripted ahead. I was like, this is what they do. They walk into the room and it fell flat. Like it wasn't me. And that's not how I played growing up. Like when I played Barbies, it was in the
Yes.
moment.
Yes.
And that's how I do it now. Like I set them up, and then I kind of envision what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, how they're going to move around. And then it's kind of like I do like a dress rehearsal, and then I do and then I go ahead and take the pictures, and then I write it out.
I like that. I like that. That's very, very interesting. I like that, having that rehearsal, because that's something we would do with humans to see what works, what doesn't work, how. But with ours, with the dolls, because they're not human, we have to be able to pose them and make all that work, and then be able to put that into translation with our photographs. Which, when we talk about photographs, do you use your phone to photograph, or do you use your camera?
I use my phone. The first one I started out was like with a Motorola something, and then my husband Chris was like, "You need a better phone. You need better pictures." The pictures look okay. So then, like, he talked me in, because I'm cheap. So I usually just get whatever phone. It didn't matter. I'm not an iPhone person. I just get whatever Android. So then he talked me into getting a Google phone, and I got a Google Pixel 8. And then I was like, okay, these pictures look better. So shout outs to him, because
there you go. Let's give a shout out to our husbands. Why not? Just give some love to the husbands. I'm all about that. My situation is very similar, because I take my photos with my camera on my phone as well, because it's convenient. It's right there. I don't have to take the pictures on the camera, then transfer it to the laptop, and then edit, and then I'm not going to do all that.
Right.
I don't know, with my kids at homeschool and stuff, I just don't have that kind of time. And then it's going to take away, just honestly, my interest. I'm having, me editing on my phone is already a lot.
Right.
Like when I edit the phone, the pictures, I'm like, this is a whole lot. But yeah, husbands are great. They see any partners that you have, and you have a healthy relationship. Your partner sees your interests, and they vibe with it, and they want you to do your best, and they want the best for you, and they invest in you. And I believe that that's beautiful. I really, really do. So shout out to our partners, our amazing husbands. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, how's the Ecologic Kentucky Queens? She's in Kentucky too. So yeah. All right, now we talked about all these wonderful and delicious things, but let's get into Skipper. Let's get into Skipper, because you have said multiple times you're like, Skipper is my girl. This is my favorite face mode.
Yes.
I want to know, why is this your favorite face mode? And I know you've shared it, but for everyone else who may not have read it.
I love the Skipper face mode. Right now, it's running neck and neck with that 95 Teen Skipper and the 2010 Skipper. But the 95 is always going to be my favorite, because I'm a little sister. And so I feel like with Barbie, it's always Barbie, Barbie, Barbie. And, little sisters, we need love too. Now, growing up, I was a Stacy girl. Like, I had all kinds of Stacy dolls, because I'm into the little sister thing. But when I came about 10 or 11, I was like, oh, Skipper. My very first Skipper doll my mom bought me for my birthday. It was Mermaid Skipper with the Sea Twins. Okay. And I fell in love with Skipper after that. And then after that, it was on. Like, I remember I was getting every Teen Skipper. Like, if I seen a Teen Skipper, it was on my Christmas list every year. And then when I got older, I was like, okay, I got to get these Teen Skippers. I would find them at the flea market for super cheap. I'd buy them. And then when I got back into this in 2022, that 2010 Skipper mold, the closed mouth, that doll is just so beautiful. Like, in any skin color. That Fashionista 166, which I want to say Dollhouse Rave, she, that's her Jamie. And even though mine's his name Nicole, that's Jamie to me. That's the Jamie doll. Because when I read her stories and she's like, that's Jamie, to me, in my mind, 166 is Jamie. And that doll, that face is just the closed mouth. Everything about it is just so beautiful. Like, I have so many of them now. And I look at them and I'm like, they're all so different, in different skin tones, different eye colors. It's like, I wish we could get that with Millie. Like, come on, Mattel, give us Millie in different skin tones. Give us Millie in a different eye color.
Yeah, we just now started to get the different face shape for Millie. Right. And then the closed mouth or the open mouth. But I agree with you. I love to be able to see Millie with a different skin tone and different skin tones, period. Yeah. And then just seeing what else they could do with her makeup wise, or, very nude makeup, or bright makeup. I agree with you. I think that would be awesome. But of course, that goes with a lot of different dolls that we have. I would love to be able to see different face molds that they have, or they have like one. I can't think of it. I recently saw one where I was like, man, I really like that doll, but I wasn't as interested because it was another Millie mode, and I was just like, I wish that they had it in another doll, just like any. Why do we have to do these packs with Millie all the time? But no offense to Millie, Millie's great.
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not a Millie hater. I'm just saying.
This is no hate on Millie. It's just, can we expand with Millie?
Right. Can we grow Millie a little bit?
Just a little, just a little. Now, you had this beautiful series that was action packed and a lot of fun, and it was the WWE episodes of your storyline. Where did this come from?
Okay. I'm a huge fan of wrestling. Growing up, my dad and my mom were big fans of wrestling, and so that kind of was instilled in us. Like, we were a wrestling household. We watched USWA, we watched WWE, we watched WCW, and I'm still into wrestling this day. I love wrestling. I told my husband one day, I was like, I want to do doll wrestling. I was like, I've looked around the doll community. I couldn't find anybody. I couldn't find anybody using a doll size, a 1/6 scale size wrestling ring. They were using like the WWE rings for the 6-inch action figures. And so one day my husband's like, okay, I'm trying to build this doll wrestling ring and it's not working. I'm not a builder. My husband's the builder. Okay. And so he's like, it's not big enough. The ring's not big enough. So then he took over. And when men take over, they take over everything. And so he built it. I came up with the idea of the design on the skirts of the wrestling ring, but he built it, and then I just kind of went with it. And I didn't think people were going to like it, and then I was like, oh my God. But, it just, that comes from a love of wrestling and just growing up, one of my favorite wrestlers, my favorite wrestler of all time is Owen Hart, rest in peace. I do like The Rock. I like Stone Cold. I love John Cena. I know a lot of people don't like John Cena, but I do. And a lot of and I think now with WWE, especially with a lot of representation with, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, I'm seeing a lot of women that look like me. Yeah. And, growing up, I didn't have that. There was Miss Jacqueline and that's it, But it's like, it's so much beautiful representation that's happening in wrestling now on all wrestling shows. And I love it. And it's like, I had to do something to show my love for wrestling to the doll community. Yeah. Because I've been in the wrestling community. I was a part of some wrestling podcasts a couple years ago. My husband and I did one. Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to show my love as a Black woman and show people that Black women, we love wrestling too. Yes. We're here. It's a very hard community to be in as a woman of color, and even a woman period, to be in wrestling. And when I did it, I seen a lot of my friends who were wrestling. They were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that!" And I was like, Barbie fans like wrestling too. So it was just something that happened, and I need to bring it back.
I love that. I love that. And did you also design the belt?
My husband, it was kind of a collaboration because he 3D printed it out, but I kind of was like telling him what I wanted on it, and then it was like, okay. And then we were just building stuff. Like, again, my husband's kind of one of my biggest fans. Like, I didn't think he was, when he met me, he knew I was a doll collector, but he didn't know that this was going to happen, like all of this. But I mean, I'm thankful for him because, not too many people's partners are that supportive. And he's been very supportive. Like, he helped me with some certain things. Like, I could ask him my idea, and he was like, okay, well, that doesn't sound right, but how about that? But overall, he's like my biggest supporter, and I'm very lucky to have him like be in my corner and even help me with the weirdest stuff that I do.
That's important. It really, really is. To me, that's what really helps in the merging of one, when we support each other, invest in each other's ideas and goals, and whatever you need, I got you on it. I believe that's beautiful. So I commend that. I really, really do. And I believe it's really awesome that you were involved with a podcast for wrestling. And I can definitely agree, just from my viewing of the different biographies for WWE, because my husband and I would like to watch the biographies and the behind the scenes. of WWE wrestlers. Uh, it's a very traumatic lifestyle.
Yes, it is.
Number one, just as far as having to be on the road so much, having so many people up in your face constantly, having so many temptations available to you, separation from family if someone has a family. It's not an easy lifestyle at all. And that's just for someone that is, generally predominantly a white male wrestler. So then when we start bringing in gender and we start bringing in race relations, that's a whole different stratosphere that we're dealing with now. That has to be acclimated. So I definitely understand where you're coming from that. But I would love, do you still have those podcasts available? Are they on YouTube or anything of that nature where people can hear it?
I believe they're still on Spotify. I was just a co-host. Now my husband, I think he is actually in the comments. We had our own called Sheer Geekdom, where we covered Star Wars. We covered Star Wars, wrestling, comic books. We covered a lot of stuff. And then the other one I had was Power Ups and Power Bombs. And I was just a co-host. I was Black Barbie 116. And I believe that's all of them are on Spotify.
Okay. I'm writing it down. Power Up and Power Bombs. All right. Yes. And that's on Spotify. So we will definitely put a plug out for that, because I love that. And I love especially being able to see couples work together and do stuff together. Because I think so often, my husband and I, we do a lot of things together. We've done comedy together. We had a radio broadcast together. Since we're both in Louisville, I'm sure you're familiar with, 1240 a.m. Yes. So we did some co-hosting on that together, and we had marriage workshops together. We've done a lot of different things together. Even right now with the fitness and training, we're doing that together. So I love being able to see couples work together and make it fun and enjoyable, because so often we give this idea that couples can't play together. Like when you get married, there's no more fun. You each have to have your own separate life somehow. But that's not true. You can enjoy each other and have fun together and make work enjoyable.
I agree.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, so I love that. So yes. We will definitely put in the comments about Spotify, and they can find it with the handle Black Barbie 116.
I think you probably could look me up that way, but I know like with one's Sheer Geekdom and the other one's Power Ups and Power Bombs.
Okay. Can you DM me, and then I can put that into the comments? Okay. Yeah. All right. We will do that. All right. So you have a new event going on, and it is the Bourbon and Beyond event.
Yes. I haven't even started on it, actually.
Huh?
I haven't even started on it yet. Like, I'm going to start on it tonight. Like, I'm working it out tonight, and then I'm going to work on it tomorrow.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this budding love that's coming up between the country singer and this young lady. I'm like, is he going to go for it? Is he not? Like, what's going on? And I also love it because Bourbon and Beyond is literally an event that we have here in Louisville. Yeah. Just like when I started communicating with you, you had the Derby event. And I was like, okay, what's this about? And I want to know, like, what made you go that direction as far as using the events that we have here?
I think because we don't, with Louisville, we don't, like, we're not in the Barbie community like that. I don't see too many of us Louisville folks kind of like in our events. And so I was like, well, everybody knows us for Derby, but, we have Bourbon and Beyond, we have Louder Than Life. So I was like, let me just bring a little bit of Louisville into it and show people what we do have besides just horse racing. And so I was like, okay, let me do this story where it's two country singers, where she's kind of like a Taylor Swift kind of character. Yeah. She's getting out of country, and he's kind of like an old school country singer. And let me do it, and let me have them come up with this song that I have not even wrote. Like, I'm probably just going to use some recorded song, and they're going to duet it at Bourbon and Beyond, which has started on Thursday, I believe, and it's going on until tomorrow. And so I need to set that up. But yeah,
Bourbon and Beyond can go on as long as they want.
Exactly. And I mean, I just wanted to show Spotlight Louisville and show that we have different things here. I mean, I love this. I love this city. This is where I was born and raised, and I just want to, show the doll community that, and plus next year the Barbie convention is going to be here.
I know.
So I mean, I just want to spotlight us.
I'm here
before
that the tickets are going on sale tomorrow.
Yes, for people who, it's for the ones who already attended the event. Like, if you've never been, we get it on the 29th. And I already got my alarm set so I can jump on that waiting list on the 29th.
So you and I can talk after this because I have no clue how to even begin to register on the 29th.
Oh, I don't either, but I've been trying to, I've been going to different Barbie groups trying to figure out, okay, what do I do as a first time convention goer? There's been a lot of people who've reached out to me and showed, they've told me hey, this is what you're supposed to do. It goes on sale on this day and at this time. You're just going to have to probably going to have to hop on a waiting list. And even if I forgot someone whoever jumped in my DMs on Instagram and told me, I apologize because I don't remember your name, but you said that a lot of times the convention's not all that great. It's the doll sales. And even if you don't get into the convention, you can still go to the sales.
Okay. I know we're going to be there, though. That's what I know. We are going to be there.
Even if I don't get in the building, I still want to do something at the waterfront because, I want everyone to
have the River City Dolls, which we're about to talk about next. Your River City Doll collectors. So this is segueing into the River City Dolls, in which you are inviting us, especially those who are from Louisville. But if you're not, you can still come, right? Or no? Is this just for?
No, this is for everybody.
Okay.
When I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning a couple weeks ago, and I thought of this, I was and I searched around on Facebook. I was okay, do we have any Louisville doll clubs? I didn't find any. I finally found one actually. Somebody told me about it a couple days ago.
Okay.
But I was Louisville, Indiana, Ohio, we don't have anything. I was so let me make up a Facebook group that anybody can join even if you live, I think someone lives in Missouri and they joined. And I'm I'm not picky. I feel like I'm an inclusive person. I feel like everybody should be included. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. As long as you love dolls, it doesn't have to be Barbie. It could be American Girl because I'm trying to see what y'all are doing over here in this American Girl community.
Yeah.
I mean, and even the Monster High, the Monster High folks, man, they are creative people. It makes me want to get into Monster High, but my husband says I can't get into any more dolls. So he's Barbie's enough.
They are costly, and on top of that, if it's not just the cost, it's also where do you put all their stuff? And right now, I'm in a battle of trying to find 3 or 4 items that I'm where'd it go? Right. One whole doll is missing. My sweater for one of my dolls is missing. Because although we don't know exactly where all of our stuff is, we still know what stuff we have.
Right.
It does. It gets costly and it gets really consuming space-wise.
But River City Dolls is for anybody. It's River City Doll Collectors. It's for anybody. Anybody can join. I told myself that if I can't get into the building at the Barbie, convention, I'm okay, But I do want to do something at the waterfront where everybody could come. You don't have to be from Louisville. You don't have to be you can be from anywhere. Just come, bring your dolls. We'll take pictures. Possibly have T-shirts. I'm hoping to have T-shirts made. And we'll just give them out to people. And it's going to be free. And just bring your dolls. And, I mean, the waterfront is one of the most beautiful places in Louisville that you could go to. And, I mean, the doll convention's at the Galt House. So it's not far from the waterfront, so you could just walk there and, we meet some new people, have a ball. Let's have a good time. I think I want to give back to the doll community because so many people have given to me, and I just want to be able to give back to them.
I get it. I do. I get it. So with the River City Doll Collectors, is this something that's your organization or club is only going to meet for the Barbie convention, or are you going to do other events and other things, other meetups?
I mean, I want to do other things. I'm still trying to grow it, so I'm still trying to get people, even though I think we're at 16 folks now. Okay. I just want to be able to meet up. We can all meet up, have a great time. I'm just trying to work out the kinks and, you know, try to make sure my life is in line, because I don't want to be like, hey, let's meet up. And then I'm like, oh, I can't because I have this going on. But I mean, I think for the most part, I just want to bring the Louisville or the Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio area, just kind of bring us all together and, you know, just have something. Because, you know, maybe in a couple years, the Barbie convention could be like, hey, River City Dog Clubs, do y'all want to host the dog convention? I'm like, yeah, but we can't do it in Louisville. But I mean, Miami, you know, whoever. I mean, I think that's something I want to see in the future. So
I like that. I like that. Hey, vision has to be bigger than you, right?
yes.
If it's not, then it's not from God. If it doesn't make you nervous and you don't know the house, then
Yes.
you're doing it in your own strength. So I understand. And I'm looking forward to it growing and expanding. And who knows, maybe us, you know, Kentucky collectors could be able to come together and really help to push and motivate that vision of, you know, to fruition. So I'm looking forward to what you do in that space. Do you have any plans for the 2025 Derby?
No, not yet. I think my goal is I kind of want to buy some horses and try to do like my own horse track thing. I think my husband's still listening. I think he might still be in the comments. He's probably gonna think I'm crazy because he's like, "Where are these horses gonna go?" Because I already have one back there, and that horse is huge, and I don't know what to do with it. So, but it's my baby. It's just sitting there. I don't know why.
I see it right there. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think I want to do some type of horse racing thing. But you know, just planning it out, probably trying to get the horses to stand and get the dogs to be on the horses. It's probably gonna be a big deal.
Now, is that a Mattel horse or is that?
No, that is actually a Glitter Girl horse that I got from Amazon for like $20, and it's huge, but it looks great, like size wise with the dolls. Because my husband, he tries to keep me on that. It has to look right with the dolls, you know, like size. I mean, because me, I'm like, I'll just buy My Little Pony and just set it there. And he's like, that doesn't look right.
I get it though. One of my issues with the Mattel horse, as much as I love the horses, and I've seen beautiful, beautiful photography done with the Mattel horses, so I'm not bashing it at all. But for me, when it comes to a horse, I really want a horse that's more massive in size.
Yes.
Because a horse is massive in size compared to its human companions. And I'm the same way when it comes to vehicles. Like, there's been plenty of vehicles that I've seen that Mattel has, and they're great. They're wonderful. But the idea that like half the portion of my doll's torso is sticking out of the car is not my thing. Like, I want my doll to sit securely in the vehicle and for the vehicle to be proportionally accurate. But that's how I am. That's just how I am. That's where my stickler, my whole stickler side comes in. So when I saw your horse back there, I was like, that doesn't look like a Mattel. I like it.
Oh, I call it the Flintstone complex, where the dolls are just way too big for the car, and it's like their head sticks out, and it's like, Mattel, come on, you can give us a little bit more height, just a little bit.
Yes, just a little bit. Just a little bit. We're not asking for a whole lot. Just a little bit. Just make it look like they're sitting in a real car, just like we would do. That's just me. That's just me. So I'm not complaining. I just don't buy it. And I don't ask anyone else to buy it for me. Because my mom or my husband or anybody else, I'm like, don't get that one. Get this one.
And my husband said we'll build a stable in the backyard. I'm going to hold you to that.
There you go. We have it in writing. Screenshot that. Screenshot it. I'm just messing with you. If your husband's anywhere close to mine, you don't have to screenshot anything. It's just how they are. So I understand that. There's no holding it to it. He wrote it. That means he means it. So there you go. What is your background with writing and storytelling? Were you already writing as a kid? Or is this something that, you know, did you go to school for? What all did you do?
Writing wise, I've always been a good writer. Like, I'm not confident in myself because, again, comes from being bullied in middle school or whatever. And I was never really confident in my writing, but my teachers were telling me I was a good writer, and I'm like, okay. And I think it just comes from being a writer, and I love to read. A lot of books I like. My favorite series, and I know this is pretty corny, but it's for all the millennials out there. My favorite book series growing up was Sweet Valley High, like the whole Sweet Valley series.
Yeah.
That was my
No, that was good.
And so I wanted to be like Jessica and Elizabeth so bad. They were twins. I wanted to be like them. And I remember just their writing, like the writing into those stories where they were very teen heavy, very 80s heavy at that time. And I just remember, I wanted to be like that. I wanted to do that. But I also like the writing that I do now versus what I did when I was growing up. Because it's more adult, and a lot of, like I said, I can pull from my life experiences, and I can pull from the soap operas I used to watch and just kind of make it into, because a lot of times in soap opera stories, you're like, okay, I could have wrote that better than what those writers did. And they get paid thousands of dollars, and they don't flesh a lot of stories out like they used to. So I was like, let me do this and let me try to flesh it out. But for the most part, I think it just comes from my confidence as a writer, just trying to learn to be a good writer. And now I'm just growing with the community. I'm growing to be a confident writer now.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I really do believe that the input that we get from our community, if you're willing to listen and heed it, doesn't mean writing so much to please your audience, but whenever you're able to take in what they're saying, it does help, because it can be as simple as them saying, I remember I had a storyline where Heidi was pregnant, didn't know who the dad was, and to this day she still doesn't know who the dad was. And it was like, well, why hasn't she taken a test? So I was like, why isn't she taking a test? So then it gave me more to think about, to express and explain later on. Like, do I just leave that as a plot, a plot hole in my story, or do I address that? So I do believe that sometimes the comments that people give is not so much to tear down your story or to criticize it. They are genuinely interested.
Oh, I love
it. Just want to know, what happens next? Why didn't they do this? Why did he say that? That felt out of character. And then you're able to look at that and say, well, if they understood it that way, maybe I can use that to my benefit. How can I add the name of my story? Yeah.
Oh, I love the community feedback. Like, I love it. And anybody who's out there and you're listening, just keep writing, like, or keep commenting. I love it. Like, I'll read it, and I literally will take what you say. And I mean, I think it's one thing that I love about myself is that it took me a long time to, have constructive criticism was never my big thing. But it's like, now that I'm getting older, I'm like, okay, I need that, because I need somebody to, tell me, like, okay, that doesn't make sense, or, but it gives me a lot to think about as a person. And it's like, okay, I would have never thought of it that way, but thank you for your input, because now I'm thinking totally different than what I would have thought if you wouldn't have given me that input.
I agree. I do. I fully agree. Like, the constructive criticism and critiques has been very, very helpful to me, because one, like I said, it shows that your audience is engaged. Like, if you can't take anything from it, it's the fact of being that people are engaged with your story and they want to know why this character is doing this. Why is this in the story? Yes. What words of inspiration were given to you that you would like to also give and share with our audience?
I think the biggest thing is just keep doing what you're doing. It may not make sense to other people, but it makes sense to you, and it might make sense to like 10 other people. And that's all. And if you get 10 other people to respond to you, or 10 other people that likes, or, gives you some type of like love or something, then that means you're doing something, that somebody is there. My biggest one is that, just keep doing what you're doing. Be confident in yourself. And at the end of the day, we're all doll collectors. We all play with dolls. Like you were saying earlier, I don't mind telling you where I bought a Barbie from. I don't mind telling you where I got the clothes from, because we all get it from the same place. And I mean, like I said, this community is just it's so vast. It's so beautiful. There's so many different people. And, we all just need to love on each other, and just, because at the end of the day, we're all playing with dolls. And we're keeping Mattel afloat. I don't care what Mattel says. We're keeping them afloat. And IT, we're keeping y'all afloat, by the way. I don't have any IT dolls, but we're keeping y'all afloat. So our money is going into y'all's pockets, but just have fun. I think that's the biggest thing, is have fun.
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
that's the biggest thing. It's just having fun.
Have fun. And I fully agree with you. When it comes to your storylines and just your pictures in general, how are you able to keep that flow of imagination original to you?
I think a lot of times it's just like taking the pictures and kind of just letting it flow. Like I said, I do a dress rehearsal where I kind of like look at the dolls, like, okay, where am I going to place you? Where am I going to do you? Then I take the pictures. A lot of times I do take breaks. Like at first, when I first started doing this, I wasn't taking any breaks, and I got burnt out. Like I got burnt out so fast. And so then I started to learn how to take breaks and just to kind of go away from it. And then sometimes I'll take like a week or two off, only because I don't want to keep getting burned out. Like, balancing work life, home life, and then coming in here. I think for the most part, to keep it flowing, I try to walk away. Like if I start to feel like I'm burning out, if I start to feel like this is just becoming too much, I kind of walk away from the dolls for a little bit. I still will play with them, but I won't I won't do stories. I won't take pictures. I might go build something, or I might go play a video game or something. But for the most part, to keep it flowing, I try to not burn myself out, because I did that first year. I was churning stories out like almost every day, and I literally burned myself out.
How could you
I want to
tell you were burning out?
because
Like, how could you?
I would look at the dolls and just not want to pick them up. Like I felt like I was just wasn't having fun. And then I kind of walked away I went away for like 2 weeks, and then I went back to it. And then I was like, okay. But I had to keep reminding myself that this is just for fun. I'm not doing this for the likes. I'm not doing it for the views. I'm doing this just to have fun. And I kept having to remind myself that. And that's why now I'm having more fun than I did when I started in 2022. When I started getting this big explosion of followers, I had to keep it flowing and to keep my mind just kind of, going back to work and my kids, my husband, the dogs. I have to walk away sometimes. And I don't stay away long. I still read you guys' stories. Like I will still be on Instagram reading you guys' stories and giving you all guys kind of love and trying to comment. But for myself, I walk away sometimes for about a week or so, and then I come back, and then I was like, it makes me fall back in love with the stories again, fall back in love with the dolls again. Because I want to say mid 2022 to 2023, I got burnt out. Like I was like, okay, I wasn't operating like I wanted to, and my stories were lacking, and I could tell because I was just writing them just to put them out there, and it wasn't no love. I didn't feel the love. I didn't feel the love from myself. Everyone was commenting, and everyone was, still liking it, but I didn't like it. When I go back and read some of them, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Why did I even put this out? And I feel like with me, with my stories, if I want it to be better, I have to like it. Like I have to believe in it, because I'm not going to sit here and put out something that I don't care about. And I did that, and it sucked. So I want to let you guys know that when I put my stories out here, I'm putting it out with love. And like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to put it out. And I will walk away from the dog community for about a week or so, and then come back. But when I come back, I want you guys to know that I do love what I'm doing, and I'm not just putting it out for you guys to read it. So.
Yes. I fully understand that. I really, really do. And I do believe that breaks are important. And however long that you need to take a break is how long you need to take it. I've spoken to people who said that, they had that same thing, and it was not feeling fun with it anymore.
Yeah.
Where it became more of a chore, more of a duty, more of an obligation than just being done out of pure fun. And when it's done out of obligation, yeah, your audience may be enjoying the storyline or enjoying the photography, but you're not really getting any feedback. Like you're not really, the pictures and everything else is not really pouring back into you.
Yes.
The way that it needs to. And so when we do this, we need to be able to feel the pouring in as well, where it's fun, it's enjoyable, you're getting some energy from it. And it's not just energy going out and going out and going out, because eventually your vessel's going to be empty.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not going to be enjoyable. And then before you know it, you're not doing it at all. And we've seen bunch of people who are talented and amazing and have so much to share, and they just stop because they got burnt out. and they
Yeah.
weren't able to catch it before it came, because sometimes it can just hit you out of nowhere. Like you were enjoying it, you're having fun. Next day it's just like boom, I don't want to do
Like,
this right now. There was no lead up. It was just like boom. I'm not feeling any story with this. I don't know what to dress you in. I got to get myself dressed as it is today, and I don't even know what I'm gonna wear.
right.
So yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to see that in yourself. So, guys, our message is about mental health and the importance of really staying on top of that, because that is self-care. I mean, you can make sure that you are being mindful of what your thoughts are and how you're feeling psychologically and physiologically. So that's so important, because you really cannot enjoy your hobby to the fullest
Mm-hmm.
if you are feeling burnt out. I've been there. And I do see right here, Stars Dolls comment that she's been there as well. Been there, and it is not a fun place to be in. And then you're kind of grasping on what do I enjoy? And I love that you said playing on your video games, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need to switch up. You got to
Right.
go from, like, yeah, okay, I'm doing the dolls right here, but I need to be able to get something else out of me that's
Yeah.
playful and fun. Yes, I love video games. I love me some Tekken, love me some Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur. I love some fighting games.
Oh, I do too. Fun fact, I have a Mortal Kombat tattoo on my back.
Yes, 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 yes. You would be invited to our picnic, to our dinner. We love Mortal Kombat. We watched the Mortal. I watched Mortal Kombat when I was like, I want to say 11 or 12. There was a gentleman in my life that was older than me. I counted him as my brother. My mother was dating his dad. He's like 9 years my senior, and just literally a brother to me. Loved him so much. He's passed away since that time. But when I was a kid, we walked over there to oh my gosh, what's the name of that movie theater right by Bashford Manor Mall? This was years ago.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
Showcase.
Yeah, Showcase Cinema. Woo! This is so cool. Like we know the area. But yeah, I went over there to Showcase Cinema, and I was really talkative with him. Like I didn't talk to her. You know how that is? Like when you talked about
Yeah.
being an introvert, extrovert. With him, I was very much extrovert. Just and so we went over there to the movie. We walked and we busted over there. And I remember we went through Bashman Mall first. He was spraying cologne on. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was just like, "I got a date tonight, and so I got to stop." He didn't want to buy it himself. And we went over there. We saw Mortal Kombat, and it was just mind blowing. Like now, someone sees Mortal Kombat with all the CGI and
Yeah.
Marvel and all this other crap, and they're probably like, and I don't mean crap because I love Marvel, but all this other stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that Mortal Kombat is just okay. But that Mortal Kombat still hits hard to this day,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I was so quiet in that theater. Like, I had my shirt, like, over my knees. I was just like, oh, my God. He was like, you okay? You're so quiet. That movie was just like,
Oh, I love
there is nothing like that. And, like, the dude, what's his name? Scorpion?
it. Yes.
Oh, he had me, like, I think I had nightmares. The idea of that coming out of his hand, like,
Yeah. I have a funny story about Mortal Kombat. Growing up, like I was a huge arcade kid. And growing up in the 90s, girls, we didn't play video games like that. So I don't know if you remember the Galleria downtown. I used to go to the Galleria all the time, and there was Aladdin's castle. And so I used to hustle boys for quarters at Aladdin's castle, and it would be on the Mortal Kombat 2 machine. And I would be like, oh my God. Like I would just play it off like I didn't. I'm like, oh my God, I've never played this game before. And I was like, the last time I played a game, it was a guy. He used to hop on these little mushroom things, and the guys would eat it up. And they were like, oh, she don't know what she's doing. Cool. I picked Scorpion. I'd bust him. I'm like, okay, give me your quarters because I'm about to play again. And like after a while, people didn't want to play me because they're like, oh, she's lying. She knows how to play Mortal Kombat. But Mortal Kombat 2 was my game in the arcade. Like I was so good at it when I was a kid. Now my son's good at it now, and it's like he beats me, and I'm like, I don't want to play no more.
oh my God, Mortal Kombat now though, like I thought it was pretty bloody back before, but now it's like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, we had the game, and like our oldest ones, we let them play occasionally. but the younger ones are not allowed at
Yeah.
all. I was like, oh my God, they're splitting up bodies and all kinds of stuff. I was like, this has gotten really, really.
Yes.
If I can play this one, I used to play to get, any kind of like aggression and stuff out. Like,
Yeah.
but there I saw that one. I was like, this is a little bit beyond. This is a little bit beyond. So only occasionally they play that. But I still to this day have such good memories of Mortal Kombat. I used to play Mortal Kombat. I do remember at the Galleria and also at Kentucky Kingdom because they used to
Yes.
have a little arcade spot over there. And I used to work at Kentucky Kingdom. When I get off of work, I used to play until my hands hurt. Like he got that joystick. Just loved it. That's such good memories. Such good memories. So one more question, and then I have fun little trivia if you would like to do the trivia
Okay.
with me. Okay. Question: have you ever doubted your talent?
Yeah.
And if so, how did you work through your doubt?
Oh, I doubt my talents all the time. I doubted them a lot, especially when I first started, because I was like, who's gonna like when I first started taking pictures or whatever, I was putting it on my other Instagram, like my personal Instagram that I had, and I was taking these pictures and I was getting a little bit of likes, and I was like, I don't know if I should do this because I was embarrassed because I didn't want people to know that I still had Barbies or whatever. Like some people knew I collected them, but nobody really knew that I was playing, or like I had started going back playing with them in 2022. And so,
Okay.
Chris, he was like, why don't you just do it? And I was like, okay. And then I think the confidence from him, and then my sisters. My sisters are also some of my biggest fans, and my mom. And so when they were like, oh, yeah, you're really good at this. We knew you played with Barbies. We knew you collected them. But it's like now it's like my family is like my biggest supporters. And then it's like some of you guys that I've met through Instagram. Some of you I've never met. I've never met you guys in person. And then it's like to send me saying, oh my God, that's amazing, or that's really good. And it's like, I think just getting that confidence from other people. Because like I said, I was bullied a lot. So it was one of those things where I never had confidence in myself. I never could speak up for myself. I never could do anything. And a lot of it comes from being the youngest child too, because everybody else is speaking up for me. So I never had my own voice. And I feel like now in this space at 40 years old, I do now have my own voice. But I think that's the biggest one is just I found my voice through Barbies, through wrestling also, but through Barbies as well.
I like that. I like that. And I feel that any hobby that we get into, it really, especially whenever you really, really are passionate about it, the passion that you have for that hobby will allow you to connect with the confidence that you need because you enjoy it and you
Yeah.
enjoy it so much that you're like, I want to talk about it. I want to do more with it. So I love that. And I'm so glad that you said that it is an ongoing struggle because I believe so often we feel that when someone's confident in a thing, like it's lifelong. Like you're just overall just so confident about anything that you get into. But that's not the case. Like there are plenty of people who we call icons who just want an Emmy and they struggle with confidence and they struggle with doubting themselves. I listened to James Earl Jones, some of his interviews following his passing, and he was just like, yeah, I wasn't very confident in my voice. Like other people said my voice was this way or that way, but I didn't see it. And I didn't, I don't remember half the narrations I did. I just did it. So yeah, I'm so glad that you said that because it's very easy in the social media world that we're
Yeah.
in to see people's photos, like your photos, and read your storyline and be like, oh, I can't do that. She did this, and I don't know how to do that. And really, the thing is, it's just like your husband encouraging you, just like you're encouraging us. Do it. Just do it because you never do know where it's going to go. You're going to evolve. You're going to evolve. That's for sure. The more that you do it, you're going to evolve. So I love that. I love that. Well, I would love to do a trivia with you for all things Kentucky. I'm not giving you any. I am not going to give you any like what derby was in 1869 and who won. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I am going to ask you some questions. Do you listen to music before I do this?
Yes.
Okay. This is some musical questions, but I don't want to like ask and then you're like, I don't really get into music like that. So I wanted to make sure. All right, here comes the fun part. All right, this singer has been known for songs such as Don't, Exchange, Insecure, And he did a duet with her for the song Could Have Been. What is his name?
Bryson Tiller, and Could Have Been is my favorite song.
That is one of my favorites too, dude. Like, I love everything about it. My husband and I, like, we will watch something. This is like a little side note, but like, we'll watch a movie or we'll listen to a song. We're like, yeah, it's all right. But they should have, maybe they could have had this person do this, or they should have included this. That one right there is just magical. It's like, you don't need to add any other ingredient in that.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. This actress played in X-Men Marvel Universe movies, as well as Passenger, Silver Lining, and Hunger Games. Who is she?
Oh, God. Jennifer Lawrence.
These are all going to be Louisville-based people. Just in case you guys didn't know, these are people who hailed from the Great Bluegrass, Kentucky.
But
all right, this
story, I was gonna name my daughter Katniss because I was reading the Hunger Games stories when I was pregnant with her. I almost went there. My husband was like, no. Chris was like, no.
Probably because of all of the turmoil that she had to go through for that journey.
Well, no, he was like, no, that just doesn't sound like a good name. I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks. Again,
this is why we have husbands. They help balance us. We help balance them. And it goes both ways. We need it. I know I do. I'm speaking for myself. I don't even think I'd be doing this podcast right now without the influence of my husband, because he was just like, he's always thinking big. He's always like, next thing. Like, I think about the baby step. I'm like, okay, this is what happens. But you need both. You need that person that's like thinking globally, and you need the other person that's like, but what do we do right here? What do we do next? And, he was like, you're already doing dolls and you're loving everyone's page. And you're, like, I would talk about you guys' page and what you have going on. And it only made sense that the next level would be to talk to you in person, because I just want to be able to see your beautiful face and be able to find out how you think and what made you think that way. And so that's where this came from. But like I said, it wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for him saying, go to the next level. Allow this thing to evolve to the next level. So, yeah. All right, on to the next question. This country singer is making waves with her hit song, Buckle Bunny, and she just released the track, Silverado. Who is she?
Tanner Adele.
Yes, it is. I'm a Buckle Bunny.
She's from Kentucky. Oh, my God.
Yes, she was.
Oh, my God.
And she was adopted, actually. She has a very interesting bio.
Okay, I have to check that out.
Yes. This actor was married to Joanne Woodward. His talent allowed him to get along, his talent alone allowed him to act alongside Elizabeth Taylor, Sidney Poitier, Owen Wilson, and many others. Today, he has a salad dressing in his name. Who is he?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hold on. Is it Paul Newman?
I'm not gonna lie to you, my husband already knows. I had the biggest crush on him. Never mind that he was probably like in his 70s when I was real little. But I was still like, oh my God. Newman all the way. Yeah, Paul Newman all the way. Like, I'm telling you, can play, like, I love me some black and white movies. I do. That's my stuff. I love me some 50s. I love me some 40s. Love me some 30s. Love me some Twilight Zone, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock. Come on now. Storylines are phenomenal. The acting is just beyond. I enjoy it. So,
top-notch shows in the 60s, the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Top-notch.
Yes. Yeah, that's true too. Don't even get me into like the disco era. Come on now. Do not. I got to throw upstairs. Don't be too surprised if you guys see it on here. I already talked about the Saturday Night Live and Saturday Night Fever. I'm all about that. Bee Gees, come on now. Like, yes. Donna Summers. We gotta stop because I'm going into my stuff. I love me some 70s and stuff. Like, that's why I'm like, I know I was here at different times and eras. I'm so passionate about different eras of time. Just more so than what I am even right now.
Right.
Love me some 70s, 50s, and just beyond in the timeline. All right, here goes a quote. We had two more. Here goes the quote. I wish people would love everybody else the way they love me. It would be a better world. Who said that?
Oh my God. So
I can do another quote that he has too.
okay.
He or she, whoever this person is. Don't count the days, make the days count.
Is it Muhammad Ali?
I didn't want to give you. Of course, I didn't want to do the like thing like a because that is so like infamous.
Oh, you have to give me the second one because like I don't remember the first one, but that second one I was like, okay,
yeah,
because it's on the side of a building.
Yeah.
At the
I know, right?
It's on the side of a building, so I was like, yes, I know it.
So at our buildings here, like when you get on the expressway, you'll see on the side of the buildings famous individuals who come from Kentucky, and of course we have the Muhammad Ali Museum here. I was crushed and still am to this day somewhat crushed that they were, what did they tear down his childhood home? I know they were discussing it.
I think they're moving it to Vegas.
Why? I mean, it's still better than them, crushing it. 'Cause they were talking about just taking it down.
Yeah.
It was a museum, and then it was no longer a museum, and then they were talking about just tearing it down, which was crushing for me because I was like, why?
They haven't torn it down yet. I think some entertainment company in Vegas bought it, and they're going to move it to Vegas. I'm like, he's not even from there. Keep it here.
That really defeats the whole purpose. Like, I know I went to Spalding University, and they've got this bike on the top of the building, and they claim that it could possibly be the bike that Muhammad Ali had because he used to train in the basement of the building where like the cafeteria and everything is at. He used to train in the gym in the basement there. So they have this bike, and I'm like, I don't know if that's his bike or not. I think it's awesome that they put a tribute out, but all of us are like, I don't know if that's really his bike. But we know that this is his house. Could we keep his house here in Louisville? Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation for a different day when we talk about Muhammad Ali, but much praise to him and how he single-handedly really did put Louisville, Kentucky on the map because he always talked about Louisville. He always gave love back to Louisville. He lived here even after being, famous and being well-known. So a lot of gratitude to him and all that he did. All right. Let's see here. I think we're going with this question.
Okay.
This musical talent worked alongside the likes of Missy Elliott, Timbaland and Magoo, and even Aaliyah. They have wrote popular songs for them as well. Who is it?
Mr. Static Major.
Yes, in the group Playa. Yes.
When you put that song up, I was like, oh my God, yes, because a lot of people slept on Playa. They were a really good R&B group. People slept on them.
I agree. I agree. And now I believe that they are touring with Drew Hill, which Drew Hill was a very big deal in high school.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so to see them working together, I mean, like their voices complement so well. I believe that made a lot of sense. But like you said, people did definitely sleep on Playa. And like a little fun fact about myself, talking about fun facts, my husband actually got me with the lyric from Playa. He wrote in my text messages the cheers to you lyrics, and I didn't know the songs. I'm like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And he thought I knew, though. He thought like I already knew. And like for me, and then I heard the song years later. I hear the song because I heard Playa, but I just didn't hear all of their tracks. And I heard that one. I was like, wait a minute. Did you just try to like did you use those words to just try to catch me? It was like, no, it's just that those words, it fit. It articulated what I felt for you. There goes my husband. He said they are now part of the Drew Hill. Yeah. They're part of Drew Hill now. So yeah. Playa is definitely an awesome group. And once again, much love and respect to Mr. Static Majors because he's another one that did a lot of work for putting Louisville on the map. And he was really, although they had already been in the game for a while, he was really just starting and taking off as a solo artist. So that was another hurting thing. We have a lot of amazing talent. I mean, look at us, sis, and look at those who are part of our doll community that come from Kentucky. And we have a lot of amazing talent here. I just think that we don't always connect and network on the way that we could,
Yeah.
on a level that we could. So it's not really seen. It's just like, oh, okay, you guys just walk around without any shoes on and have an ice cream in the back of your pocket trying to lure the horses away, which is illegal. It's illegal
Yeah.
to put that ice cream cone in the back of your pocket. But we have a lot of talent, and I'm really looking forward to what you do with the River City doll collectors. Like I said, I'm willing to, help in any capacity that I can. I fully understand what you mean as far as trying to keep that balance between home life and work life and everything else. But as you have visions of where you're wanting to see it go, definitely, let me know.
Okay.
Comment, give me a message in my DM. But I do hope that we do talk again
Oh,
and
we
that we're
need
able
to.
to. Yes, I have enjoyed this
I did
conversation.
too.
I truly, truly have. And it was so cool just being able to be like, what's the name of that one, cinema right by Bashment? And you knew it. You knew it. I love that. I love that, Theo. I didn't feel like I was alone here in Louisville.
Never. I think there's like one more other person that's from Louisville. Her name is Dawn, and she's amazing. Like, I met her in person, and Dawn is extremely amazing person, and she's so bubbly and so sweet. So you got to have her on your show because she's amazing.
Most definitely. So we are going to definitely connect again. I wrote down Dawn's name, and I just recently connected with her when I saw her name on the River City Doll Collectors, and I saw went to her handle on Instagram. So I recently connected with her. So I would love to do that. But we're going to have to do something with us Louisville collectors and see where it goes. Yes. So I thank you again. Hopefully you're able to catch the game. I didn't eat up all your time for it.
No, the game is already over. And okay, so fun fact, I like Louisville, but I'm a Duke fan. So I'm my husband is a Louisville fan, and I'm a Duke fan, and I have to
at least
be the villain.
U of L U of K.
Yes.
Households have been divided with the U of L U of K. Just in case anyone's like, what is that about? University of Louisville, University of Kentucky, miles apart. I think, what are we, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours apart from each other? It's not even like a dramatic amount of miles, but for some reason, it becomes such a big deal.
It's very heated.
It is very heated, very, very heated. And it's horrible because, like I said, I have literally seen households get divided where they are almost cussing each other out as far as which team is better.
Yes. Kids get disowned.
Friends break up over this stuff. Like, it is that deep. And the crazy thing about U of L, we call them what do we call them? Cardiac cards. Because when you're watching, people have literally had heart attacks from watching the Cardinal game.
Yes.
Because it looks like it's going down and then it goes up and you're like, okay, I'm in it. And then the team goes down again. I mean, once again, self-care. When you feel yourself getting too invested in it, you got to go ahead and step back.
Take a break.
Don't allow it to divide you with friends and family. So, since I thank you again, I hope you have an awesome, amazing weekend. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Oh, before we let go, though, you and your husband also make cups, correct?
Yes. I don't. My husband, he makes cups. Like, he does sublimation on cups, or mostly sublimation. He does sublimation on cups. So he was here earlier. His name is Sheer Geekdom. You can reach out to him at Sheer Geekdom on Instagram. And I think he's also in the the River City Doll Club, the River City Doll Collectors. He's in there as Chris Cottrell or Christopher Lee. You can reach out to him, and he's amazing at what he does with cups, and he does t-shirts too, but he's amazing with cups and t-shirts. Like, he's very creative on that aspect. Like, I might glitter a glass or two. I can do glitter all day long, but he's amazing at what he does.
So you guys hear that for any cups or t-shirts that you may have, any Barbie clubs that you have, doll collecting clubs that you have, or any small business or even big business that you have, definitely give them a content, a poke into their DM, a conversation. I think poke is with Insta, what's the other one, TikTok or something like that. They got the little poke, but give them a message so that you can be able to showcase your business. Or if you just want a personalized cup, I saw the one you had, it had your name on it. That is on her page. She has a cup with her name on it, and it says Barbie on the other side. I do believe. I wish we had a screenshot of it, but we're getting to that level. We'll be able to show screenshots behind me. But yes, so if you guys want a cup, you need a cup, a personalized one, or one that showcases your business and name, give them a DM, and I'm sure that they will gladly accommodate. All right. Thank you again, sis. Like I said, I do want us to connect again. And let's do this.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on here. And like, I'm just a huge fan of yours. Told you Reggie's my guy. Reggie's my guy. Like I love I love toxic. I mean, I know he's a little toxic, but I love him.
He is. I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I was enjoying my storyline at first. It was fun. And then I hit those peaks like you did when you talk about being burnt out. But this dude gives me so much story. He is like so.
And he's fun.
Thank you. Ain't that right? Say thank you. I do. I enjoy me some Reggie. I do. It's a fun character to write for. And I think it's more so because, like we just said with Miguel, you're able to see that they have toxic traits.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very much moved by their own self-ambition. But it's not really coming from this evil place. It has something to do with how they were raised. It has something to do with how they lacked what they needed growing up, and now they're going to get it any which way that they can. Like, they genuinely are almost amoral in that, like, they can't see the difference between if this is right or wrong. I know I probably shouldn't, but it feels right. I'm going to do it. And I think whenever you can come to that place with your characters, you as the writer are able to have so much more material because you're not just writing an evil character just to write one. Yeah. You're not just like, oh, okay, he's going to be an a-hole and a jerk just for the sake of it. But you actually have gotten into the root of why this individual is like that. And yeah, they could change, but it would be superficial. Like a 1 minute change, And like you said, that's not realistic. We have to be realistic. If someone is going to transform, it's generally a process. Some people say they change like that. Hallelujah. Great. Not everybody does.
Right.
You gotta bump your head and step into this stuff a couple of times before you're like, okay, I need to make some different changes.
Exactly.
So I do it. I enjoy this character. He reminds me about 3 or 4 people that I've experienced in my life, family-wise and so forth. And I find that in writing for him, it is definitely therapeutic. It is definitely therapeutic. I'm able to kind of heal from the men that were more like, I guess, father figures, or should have been like father figures, and really see them on a human level. Because at some point, we have to see people that we look up to and love as humans.
Right.
We have to see that they're flawed. At some point, our own kids are going to have to see us as humans. They're like, I idolized you, but you made me so mad. But now I see you have flaws, and now I can really see where that came from. I see the humanness of you. So I believe that we get that privilege when we write to be able to see that with our characters.
I agree.
Great, but it made me go into a whole different thing. You know how much I love characters. I love me some characters because I feel that we're all layered in different ways. And then when we write that, we're able to really explore that. Just like you had the storyline where the one girl didn't even know that he was a dad, and she happened to hear it. Like, she got off of school early, and come to find out, oh my God, the son that his little boy that's been around him is really his dad. And that does happen. That does happen. Is that coming from a place that's evil, or is it coming from the factor being that he was lying so that he could hold on to her and still hold on to his life as a dad too?
Exactly.
So I enjoy that. Like I said, I find the realism of it, that it's not just so much like you have a character that's just a liar and he's just line for the whole sake of that's who he is. But there was this deeper meaning to it. He was trying to hold on to everything that was in his life that he considered good, but without really disclosing who he was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, but we'll have to have a conversation about characters. I think that one is like a whole nother. And I love, real quick, since we're still on here, I love the factor being that you did something very different in this time and era where we have so much sexualization all around us, like so much propaganda of sex, sex, sex. And you had the characters who I cannot think of their names right now. They're both in college together, and the young lady, she's very much like an introvert. She and the guy, they got together and they just held each other.
Oh, Shannon and Rashawn.
Yes. Yes. I love that because I think that we're almost assuming and guessing and in so many ways expecting for the natural prediction of behavior to be that it's going to become sexual. But there's nothing wrong with laying together and holding each other and embracing each other. And that is just as intimate, if not more intimate, than actually going all the way through the do. And so you're allowing them to get to know each other. And so I just want to give you praise on that because I think that that is an awesome way to showcase your characters as well as present a storyline where it's not just it went right into having sex.
Well, I kind of wanted to highlight that it's not always the guys that are pushing for women to, want to have sex. Because women, we do it too. We've been known to do it as well. And I think with that story, I'm trying to show that, you have Shannon, she is a virgin, but she's kind of feeling that pressure of she feels like she has to lose her virginity because she's an introvert. She's a rich girl who's never really been around people who actually liked her for who she was. They just liked her for her money and her name and to respect her name. And you have Rashawn, who is a virgin as well, but he's from a family that has, most African-American families, they have that you should, morals, and we have values. We have things where it's like not all men are pushing to want to have sex right away. Rashawn is kind of scared because he wants to be respectful of whoever he loses his virginity to, but he doesn't want to do it in a rush. He wants to, because he's had it he's 21. He's had it this long. And I wanted to show that it's not just women who, it's not just the men who are pressuring. Because I've ran through that in my life where I've seen guys who are virgins and, they're not pushing. It's the woman and they don't feel comfortable. So I'm trying to show that it does happen all around. It's not just men, it happens on either side.
I love that you did that. I love that you did that. I believe like the only time we really did see this being highlighted, at least when I was growing up, would have been with the 40-Year-Old Virgin, the movie.
Yes.
It was so good, but it was done for like this comical aspect. And you really did have to, fight through all the layers to get to the point being that, and he admitted, he was like, I was afraid. Like I had these opportunities to do, to go all the way. But, and you see women then during, teenage girls and women that he interacted with that were more eager to make it happen. And it didn't happen, or some mishap took place, and it really did traumatize him even further. Where he was like, "I'm just going to shut myself off from it." But despite the comical aspects of that movie, the reality is that there are some men, some young men, that have not engaged in sexual acts, and then you have some that feel like they have to lie to keep up an appearance because it's not okay, especially for a guy to be a virgin. That's the propaganda that's been given. But that's not true. I believe it's a very beautiful thing to still be a virgin, to really be selective of who you give yourself to if you decide to wade into marriage, especially, it's a whole nother conversation. We talk about STDs and BDs that are out there. At least you're being safe with your body, your temple, and really valuing who you're with and making sure that you are giving respect and value to the other person. So like I said, I love what you did right there because I do believe that in this time and age, even when we were growing up, especially in this time and age, it's expected that in your story, especially if you already have characters that's engaged in sexual activity, it's just expected that all the characters just hop right in the bed. Okay? I love the route that you went with it, because I believe that it also speaks to other people. Because that, you know, that's the thing about our stories, that's the power of what we write. It does speak to other people who may be in a similar situation, or their kids or grandkids could be in a similar situation, and they read that and they can say, here, don't feel so bad about it. And I know it to be true, because I had a situation since where a best friend of mine was going through a situation, and I listened to her, and I was like, you know what? There is a storyline in our doll community that fits with what you're saying. And I sent her, and she's not involved with the doll community at all. She does not play with dolls. I don't even think she did when we were kids. Nonetheless, sent it to her, and she was like, this speaks to what I'm going through. Like, this was so well articulated for what I'm feeling and helping me to get over what I'm feeling right now. So our stories speak to people. And I believe that storyline definitely speaks to someone who may be feeling the pressure and uncomfortability with being a virgin, or how do I still have intimacy and enjoy a relationship without going all the way. So bravo on that. I want to say that before we get off, because stories do matter, and the way that you are pushing that storyline and the importance of them respecting each other and her. And I love that, you know, you have the female more ready and eager to go all the way, and him being like, no. So yeah, good job with that. Good job. I'm excited to see what else happens with Shannon and Rashad as they go further into their storyline, and just being able to build on that. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this Bourbon and Beyond. Are you going to have any hashtags for people to join?
I don't know, because like I feel like when I do that, I get all jumbled up. So it's like if they want to join, they can, but it's not going to be a big thing, you know. I might do something eventually where I do a big hashtag event, but like I think the last time I did an event, I was like, oh my god, it was a lot,
Yeah.
and it took.
It is very overwhelming.
Yes.
But if they want to join the Bourbon and Beyond event, they can tag you in order to say that, you know, like their dolls are enjoying the festivities at the Bourbon and Beyond. If you guys are very curious what is Bourbon Beyond, you can definitely Google it, and you should find some information, maybe even some scenes that will give you an idea of what Bourbon and Beyond is like, and be able to have your dolls join. Yep. I know I'm going to try my best too. Right now we're doing this fashion show, and it's been deep. So I get it. I thought about hashtagging mine, and I was like, nope.
Right.
It's just going to add to it. It's going to make so you got to know what you can handle. Not right now. All right, sis. Thank you again. You have an awesome, amazing night. Tell your husband and family thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very appreciative of you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you too. Bye-bye, sis.
Bye.